Well, stunning revelation that I don't think many of us were expecting to wake up to this morning. All the talk has been Ronaldo and Bales as the Champions League.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise. But, you know, that's what a lot of these modern-day managers seem to be doing. And you can't deny him that he has his right to do that. But what I would say is, and he's been hugely successful going in there, but he's managed a great club. He's managed with great players, but he's managed them well. But I still think he needs to be judged when he goes somewhere else if he can pick a team up with the scruff of the neck.
As to the reasons as to why he's resigned now, do you take him at his word, what he's saying?
I don't understand the word he was saying.
Well, he basically said, I think it would be difficult to continue winning if I stayed. I mean, that was quite stark.
So, I mean, I look at people like Ferguson, and I look at people even like Wenger. It was going to be difficult for them to keep winning, but they hung in there and they dug it out and they rebuilt, particularly Ferguson.
I sympathise. You saw Pep Guardiola walk away from Barcelona after 4 years and unprecedented success himself. Now Zinedine Zidane has taken him an even shorter period before he just gets worn out. And I think clubs like Real Madrid can do that to you. And I thought it was also key that he stressed he's not tired of coaching. He thinks he can go on and keep coaching. Yet still, he's walking away from arguably the biggest job in world football. That says that it's more than what happens on the field. It's about so much more, and it's just wore him down. 9 titles as we bring in Gab Marcotti out of the 13 he could have won in his, what wasn't even 3 full years, was it, Gab? The basic question, why, and why now?
Well, I think he alluded to it. You know, he was careful. He said he's not tired of coaching. He did use the term that he was a bit worn out at this stage. But I think, the answer was there plain in front of our faces. He went through a season where he saw the gap with Barcelona in the league. He saw the performances in the Champions League where, of course, they won in the end, but, they were outplayed for long stretches against Bayern, against Paris Saint-Germain. They lost at home to Juventus. And I think he asked himself, okay, so what's ahead? And the indication is that what's ahead is a rebuild. I don't think it's a coincidence that Gareth Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo kind of put the idea out there that they might not be back next year. And he said, do I want to go through a rebuild where, we lose 4 or 5 veterans, the people who got us here, and then start over with new players? No, I don't think I want to do that. And to what Craig said about judging him versus Ferguson and Wenger, that may be true, but I really don't think Zinedine Zidane thinks of, oh, gee, I better stay here so I can be one of the greatest managers ever. I really don't think that's his measuring stick or that he cares. He's Zizou.
Yeah, but I'm not suggesting he cares what anybody thinks, Gab. What I'm saying is there are so many people who have come out there putting this guy on a pedestal for the success that he's had, and he has had success. But for the very reasons you mentioned there, Gab, about he doesn't want the rebuild and he doesn't. The great managers have really put themselves up for the battle through thick and thin. Ferguson had his problems, he rebuilt, he went again. He had his problems, he rebuilt, he went again. That's the stock of a great manager, and it won't be until Zidane does that and pulls a club up with the scruff of his neck to success that we can really judge him.
Gab, is it definitely going to be a rebuild situation for Real Madrid? Is this what's driving it for Zidane? Because they seem to be built to win now.
Yeah, that's one of the odd situations and obviously Zidane knows the club's plans better than you or I do. On paper, you look at this, the average age of the starting 11 in Kiev was 29 years old. You go up and down the squad and you see a whole bunch of guys who are locked into long-term contracts through 2021, 2022. Most of these guys make a lot of money, so even though they're very good players, throw in their age, they're actually not that easy to move, to bring money in. And if you look at the team, the last starter to have been, or the last time Real Madrid brought in starters was in 2014 when Toni Kroos and Keylor Navas went and joined the club. And remember, Navas didn't start right away. So there's a case to be made that now is the time that the club needs to go and think about bringing in 2, 3, 4, 5 more superstars, and that's going to involve a rebuild. And I think he also looked around and again saw some of Bale and Ronaldo's antics after the Champions League final and said, do I really want to be a part of this again, go through this process, or have I kind of proven my point and now try and experience elsewhere?
Well, not many managers have got to leave Real Madrid on their own terms. In fact, you have to go back to Fabio Capello at his first spell for the last to leave of his own will. The odds for the next manager, of course, this is going to be dominating our conversation for quite some time now. Interesting that Pochettino is amongst the bookies. He's not the favourite. If you look at the latest odds, Gab, Arsene Wenger at 5-4 is actually top of the list. What do you make of that?
I mean, look, all of this happened so quickly. I certainly take Florentino Perez actually at face value when he says, he first found out about this on Wednesday. I think right now, looking at these odds lists, they're pretty meaningless. Real Madrid have not moved yet. They may have an idea, but nothing's actually happened. Pochettino would certainly be somebody who's, I think he's made it clear he'd love to go back to Spain, but you have the big hurdle of that big contract he signed with Tottenham, and obviously the need to go and negotiate now with Daniel Levy, which is never easy. Arsene Wenger obviously is available. Strong suggestions they might go for an internal solution. Somebody like Guti, who obviously spent more than 20 years at the club as a player, going back to his time in the youth academy, and who for the last 5 years has been coaching at youth level. And of course, like Zidane, he was a part of those Galactico teams. So they have different options in front of them. I think going for an external candidate, I don't think there's an obvious choice.